FC Schalke 04 are a club with a rich history in German football. With origins dating back to 1904, they're one of the 16 founding members of the Bundesliga, a league in which they've competed in every year after 1991. UEFA Cup winners in the late 90s and back-to-back Pokal winners in the early 2000s. The future certainly looked promising for the Royal Blues. This was even more so the case after Schalke's youth academy produced several promising footballers, some of which we consider among the world's best today. However, recent years have shaped a different story for the club out of Gelsenkirchen. Turnover in club management, players leaving for other clubs, and the beginning of a rebuilding stage have many of us wondering about Schalke's future in the Bundesliga. Hey, what's going on everyone? Flick here, and welcome to our first career mode challenge of FIFA 21, where today we'll be heading to the Bundesliga to rebuild Schalke. Some of you may remember this series from previous installments of FIFA. However, if it's a new concept to you, basically we're doing a play off of the board expectations, which are a part of every FIFA career mode. However, I've implemented some of Schalke's club culture, their history, and transfer trends to come up with a few additional objectives that you can apply to your own Schalke career mode. Essentially, we're going to do a multi-season rebuild with Schalke all within this video, and for each season we're going to have individual objectives that we need to meet for that particular season, as well as some overlying objectives that apply throughout the entire career mode. One other thing to point out is that this series will be very simulation heavy because we are compacting so much information all in one video. I might highlight some of the interactive match sim for key matches, maybe our derby against Dortmund, or if we reach a cup final, things along that sort. You're free to try out this challenge for your own personal saves. That's a big reason why I've decided to bring this series back for FIFA 21. But it would be a tremendous help if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Getting into the specs of the challenge itself, as mentioned in the intro, Schalke have a lengthy history in German football. They were one of the 16 original founding members of the Bundesliga, and they had back-to-back Pokal victories in the early 2000s. Despite that, Schalke haven't actually won a league title since the Bundesliga was formed, so we'll try to accomplish that in this challenge. Some of Schalke's former youth academy players include Leroy Sané, Mesut Ozil, Manuel Neuer, Julian Draxler, and Jens Lehmann. In an effort to find some more promising youth academy players, we're definitely going to set up a great scouting network. We're also going to make it a point to make smart financial deals in this challenge. If any players do depart the club, I will try to receive above their market value for those transfer fees. This page will be a great resource if you decide to take on the challenge itself. It lists out all the individual objectives for each season, but we'll break them down in further detail as we enter each season for the video. And finally, some facts about the club. Dortmund and Schalke have one of the biggest rivalries in football, known as the Revier Derby. Klaas-Jan Huntelaar is the club's top scorer in UEFA competitions with 30 goals. Also known as the Hunter, he scored 82 Bundesliga goals, which is second most in club history. The best performance Schalke had in the Champions League came in 2011, where they reached the semi-final, eventually being eliminated by Manchester United. The Spanish striker Raul actually featured for Schalke in this Champions League squad after his lengthy career at Real Madrid. Our objectives for Season 1 of this career mode challenge are to finish in the top half of the Bundesliga and also develop a clear direction that we want to take the club. And if we take a look at Schalke's default starting 11 and substitutes, they're using a 5-3-2 formation. There are definitely some areas that we need to make improvements, and I have a few ideas in mind. After making a few changes to the squad, I've opted for this 4-1-2-1-2 narrow formation. I think it will work better for us given the current players we have at Schalke. There is, of course, one area that we need to improve, and that is to sign a new right back. We can't be having a 65 rated fullback in our starting 11. But I do want to spend some time highlighting a few players in our starting 11, particularly the ones that have a good amount of potential, as they'll have a long-term future at the club. And I'll also explain why you might not be seeing some players that you associate with Schalke. We'll begin with Kabak. He is a 77 rated center back, just 20 years old, so he has a lot of room for improvement. And the reason that I've decided to include him over someone like Nastasic, who I rate quite highly, but he is not getting any younger. He's already 27 years old, so he's kind of at the peak of his market value. And one big aspect of the Schalke club is that we need to bring in funds some way or some form. So I think selling some of our players that have peaked in their overall is the best way forward. And the same can more or less be said about Stambouli. He's even older at 29, so I would rather let him leave the club, bring in some funds, and then we can maybe sign another center back that's younger that can eventually transition into the starting 11. Skripski, on the other hand, is just not going to make it into the squad. 27 years old, 71 rated. That's not going to cut it. But getting back on topic to our starting 11, we'll transition to our right center mid. Serdar can play a variety of positions. You'll see center mid, center defensive mid, and center attacking mid listed. He's only 23, so I could definitely see him getting into the mid 80s for his overall. The final player that I want to build around is Arit. I think he's been a bit unlucky with injuries throughout his career, so hopefully we can see a good improvement to his overall if dynamic potential comes into play. Although they're not featured in the starting 11, we do have some more high potential players in the substitutes and reserves, including Matondo. He is from Wales and can play left mid, striker, or right mid, just 19 years old and 70 rated already. Once he does get a bit higher in his overall rating, I definitely plan on featuring him in the starting 11 so that his sharpness goes up and he can improve at a quicker rate. Because we are going to rely so heavily in this challenge to have midfield squad depth, I do want to spend the time to allow Bozdogan to improve in his overall from that low rated 64. Plenty of time to do so as he's just 19. And then finally, we have Hakan Çalhanoğlu's cousin, Karim, who, similar to his cousin, can play on the left side. He is by default a left back and just 17. The Schalke squad has a lot of room for improvement, but they still have some exciting players, so I'm hoping we can achieve the objectives that we've set out for this challenge. I'll be starting by transfer listing the 3 players that you can see at the bottom, hopefully bringing in some funds and trying to sign some players. I'm still getting used to the fact that we already have a youth academy in place at the start of career mode in FIFA 21, and I've narrowed things down to 2 players that have 90 plus potential, starting with Harrison Greaves. Luckily, he is a goalkeeper, which is a position that we definitely need to develop some younger players. 55 overall isn't great, but the 78 to 94 potential is promising, so hopefully he can continue to develop. Schumacher is our homegrown player, is a center mid slash center attacking mid from Germany and has an overall of 70 potential, 77 to 94. You know he's going to be great, but we'll let him chill in the youth academy for a while and develop a bit more. We also have a 4-star scout already available to be dispersed, so we'll be sending him to Germany for this first season, looking for a physically strong player. As far as our budget's concerned, we have 22 million remaining for transfers and 100 grand in our wages. However, I'm trying to keep that intact just to make things a little bit more realistic for this first season. So I'm thinking whatever funds we receive from player departures, we can put towards player arrivals and keep the budget roughly the same for this entire first season. Our first marquee signing of this career mode challenge will address the pressing issue of our right back position. We brought in Martin for 9 million. I feel like this transfer is fairly realistic. He's a squad rotational player for Deportivo Alaves, and Schalke have a history of signing Spanish players, including the likes of Raul and even our starting center defensive mid. We're going to turn to the Zweite Bundesliga for the second signing of this challenge. Rick van Drongelen arriving from Hamburg. And I like this signing because he doesn't necessarily need to fit into our first team right away. He can spend a couple of seasons growing in his overall, and he has a real face in game, which are both bonuses for me. Our first transfer deadline day has rolled around, and Arit has submitted a shocking request considering the plans I had for him at the club. That's he wants to leave. As a result, Porto has met his release clause of 28.5 million. And an even more interesting turn of events, apparently Arit and Porto were not able to agree on personal terms, and instead Hoffenheim have swooped on in and they have met his release clause, and he has been sold. 23 million added to our transfer budget, so we will be battling against him in the Bundesliga this season. You can say what you want about this transfer, but I will always associate Julian Draxler with his time at Schalke. They didn't leave on the best of terms, but hopefully the reunion goes better, as we picked him up for just 18.8 million. His contract was expiring at the end of the season from PSG, so this is a bit of a bargain. We have also given him his former kit number, the number 10, and that means we've moved Bentaleb to the number 5. We've actually had a number of players departing the club, not just Arit, including several players out on loan, but Nastasic will be returning to the Premier League. He'll be departing for Spurs for 12.7 million. Trubsky going to Ghent for 2 million. Mendo out on loan. Kutucu out on loan. And finally, Stambouli also going to the Premier League for 8.6 million. Because we had an excess of funds from player departures, I decided to sign up 2 5-star scouts to our youth academy, and that'll pretty much set us up for the remainder of this challenge. Our scout from Austria is currently on a network in Spain looking for a playmaker, whereas our scout from Moldova is in the Netherlands looking for an attacker. And while we're on the topic of our youth academy, we'll make one final signing, and that will come in the form of promoting our homegrown player, Mohamed Schumacher. I think he's ready for our substitutes, and honestly, the more that we feature him, the higher his sharpness will go and the quicker he will grow his overall. Essentially, this is the Schalke squad that we'll be using for the foreseeable future. I don't plan on making too many more signings in this first season, maybe for a new left back if our current one decreases too much in his overall, but I'm liking where we are in terms of our squad depth, and hopefully some of our younger players can continue to grow in their overall. I'm going to assign a few development plans, starting with Matondo. By default, he's a left mid, which doesn't exactly fit into this 4-1-2-1-2 narrow formation. It will take a long time for him to convert to a striker, roughly 2 seasons if things stand as they are, but I'm okay with that. And honestly, if he can massively improve the shooting statistics as this development plan indicates, he's going to be an amazing striker. Serdar will be using the box-to-box development plan. I found this to be extremely effective for center mids, and hopefully that'll be the case here. While we're at it, we might as well use the box-to-box dev plan for Bentaleb, and I think other than that, the rest of our players will be unbalanced. Unless we go on to make a cup run this year and reach the final, I probably won't showcase any individual matches outside of this fixture against Dortmund. We're traveling to the Signal Iduna Park. Let's quick sim and see how we do against current first place Dortmund. Yeah, it's reflected in the scoreline. Holland with at least a brace. Yeah, Holland with the hat trick, actually, as we lose this one 4-1. It's time for a mid-season progress report, and as expected, Bayern and Dortmund currently top the league. Bayern in first at the moment. Hopefully things stay that way, as we don't want our rivals Dortmund winning the Bundesliga title. As for us, we're not doing too bad, currently in 10th, so we need to make some small improvements if we do want to finish in the top half of the Bundesliga. Lots of teams around us, so really anything can happen in this second half of the season. Just a quick update as we look to finish up this first season. We have our first Youth Academy player that is unsettled. It's actually one of the Youth Academy players that we started with, Harrison Greaves, the goalkeeper from England. And he's the only goalkeeper in our academy, doesn't have the best potential, but I will be promoting him. I'm not sure if we'll end up using him in this challenge. More than likely, we'll end up signing another player with higher potential and a higher overall, but I'll update you whenever we do sign a Youth Academy player. Sauer is another one of our Youth Academy players ready for a call-up. I don't see him being part of our first team plans anytime soon, but you never know how quickly these players might develop out on loan. While we're at it, I'm going to promote the first 5 players you see here with the highest overall. Unfortunately, because we're on a restricted timeline, we won't be able to develop the players with a lower overall, so I'll quickly walk you through them. Klein, a right back / left back from Germany. Simon, a right wing from the Netherlands. Arnold, a right back from Germany. Costa, a left mid from Spain. And Vink, a center attacking mid / center forward from the Netherlands. It totally crossed my mind that we are not eligible to promote Klein because he is just 15, but considering he already has that high of an overall, he's going to be an amazing prospect, so I'll promote him as soon as possible. Well, we've reached the end of our Bundesliga season, and I'll unveil our standings here in a second, but we've somehow reached the final of the DFB Pokal. We have a very difficult opponent in Bayern München, but let's see how we do. Now that I think about it, this match is going to have extra importance for us because there are at least 2 former Schalke players in the Bayern München starting 11, Manuel Neuer, as well as Leroy Sané. Bayern in the middle, linking up, and that is a huge save from Fährmann, denying what I would assume would have been Robert Lewandowski, and somehow we've managed to keep the game 0-0 and might be able to go up 1-0 if we can just get the ball forward into Bayern's final third. It's our number 6 on the ball. It's not working out. Well, it was only a matter of time before Bayern get their goal. It's Rocca to score it. And to be fair, we played fairly well defensively. Fährmann made a couple of big saves. We're not out of the match yet, as we're trying to hold on to possession in the final third, but Bayern close you down so quickly. I feel like we need to change our game plan. We're going to go ultra attacking. 20 minutes left to play. I think that's going to allow our center backs to join the attack as well. So this is a very high risk, high reward method. Maybe we can get a goal back and force penalty kicks or something along that sorts. Oh, this might be the chance. Our number 6 shooting and scoring. That's Massaral. Our center defensive mid has pushed up, and we've gotten a goal. I'm going to make some changes now that it is 1-1. Surely we have some tired players. Yeah, we've actually gone back to the default 5-3-2 that Schalke start with. Let me sort some things out. All right, I've gone back to the tactics that we usually use. I'm going to bring our homegrown player Schumacher in because Serdar's looking a bit tired. And then we're also going to give Schulp an opportunity at that left center mid spot. That'll give us one extra substitution just in case we need it towards the end of this match. We've entered extra time. I think if we get until penalty kicks, I'll jump in for it, because I'm not going to leave penalty kicks up to the computer. But hopefully this match is decided before then, and hopefully we can get the winner as we have the ball here on the left side. I do need to switch over to this view, and we've actually scored a goal. It's Julian Draxler, our new signing. Oh, what a goal that is. Can we hang on for this result? We're reaching the end of the match. This is probably Bayern's final attack. Can we hold on for a few more minutes? Bayern working the ball out wide. Ref just called for full time. They're passing it backwards. We've held possession, and we've won the match. Oh my goodness. I haven't looked at our league standings, but now that we've won the Pokal, that should mean that we've qualified for the Europa League a season ahead of schedule. I'm going to be honest, I had very low expectations for this Schalke squad in the first season, but I think the signings that we made really help bolster the squad and how we play in these simulations. And look at us now, we are winners of the DFB Pokal. Well, that Pokal victory ended up being clutch for us as we did not qualify for Europe via league performance, 12 points behind Wolfsburg, but we did finish in the top half of the Bundesliga in 8th. Dortmund did win the league title, just 1 point ahead of Bayern. We'll transition to the bottom half of the table and see some of the teams involved here. Looks like things stayed roughly the same since the first half of the season. Bielefeld and Werder Bremen being relegated. It's fairly predictable who our top club scorers were, as Uth was in first. Paciencia had a pretty good loan spell, going up +2 ratings and contributing 13 goals across the goals and assists. Draxler also had a pretty solid season, just appearing in 27 matches, but netting 5 goals. For the assist category, let's take a look at this. It was Uth in first, so he was clearly our top striker, had the most goals, had the most assists. Masrel in second with 5 assists, and then Serdar Bentaleb and Schulp in third with 3 assists each. That covers all the competitions we were involved in, but in case you were interested, this is how the squad looks at the end of the first season. We'll have a couple of players departing the club because their loan spell is over, including our current backup goalkeeper Rono and our starting striker Paciencia. We'll have to replace them with some new signings or either bring them back on a permanent basis. We also have 2 players whose contracts are expiring at the end of the season, Ibisevic and Langer. I'm going to let those contracts expire. They're both older players, and I don't see them being a part of our Schalke squad in Season 2. Let's recap how things went for our Season 1 objectives. I would mark both of these complete. We finished in the top half of the Bundesliga, and you could argue we even exceeded that objective by qualifying for the Europa League via cup performances. And we brought in a number of youth academy players. Hopefully some of them will eventually make their way into the starting 11. In most cases, our objective for Season 2 would be to spark Schalke's return to Europe via a top 6 league finish or by winning the cup. However, since we've already accomplished that by winning the Pokal in Season 1, I think we may as well move to our Season 3 objective, which is to try to establish Schalke as a top team in Germany. I would call that a top 4 finish in the league, and maybe we can qualify for Champions League as well. However, in order to achieve that objective, we absolutely need to make some improvements to the squad, and I am willing to spend some more in this transfer window. I don't think we are quite as restricted in terms of our transfer funds because now we are back in Europe. In terms of where I want to improve, I definitely want to sign a higher rated left back. Mendel looks like someone that could be a good squad rotational player or maybe even a future first team left back because he is just 23. But I also want to bring in a striker. We used to have a player here on loan, but Rahman has filled in. He's not bad, but he's not great. Uth was our top scorer, so I don't want to replace him. So I think Rahman will serve as a substitute, and instead we'll bring in a higher rated striker. In terms of our budget for this season, I think we've seen a slight upgrade from what we had in Season 1. That is well deserved considering we qualified for Europe. Considering the long tenure that Huntelaar had at Schalke, I would have loved to have signed a young, high potential striker from the Netherlands. I was mostly looking at Malen and Boadu. Unfortunately, they both transferred to new clubs recently, so we weren't able to sign either of them. Well, if we can't sign an attacker from the Netherlands, I have absolutely no problem signing one from Spain. Alish Berenguer will mark our first signing of Season 2. We brought him in for 22 million from Athletic Club Bilbao. I like the fact by default he is listed as a center forward because we are trying to replicate the Raul signing that Schalke made many years ago. I probably will use development plans though to convert his position so that he can get the max rating in game. Our left back position is now sorted for the foreseeable future. Kakache has signed for 16.7 million. This player has actually been recommended pretty often in the live streams I do here on YouTube, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, by the way. So I thought I'd give him a try and see how he works for us. We operated exclusively on loan deals for players departing the club, at least for this season. Most of them are youth academy players that we promoted at the end of last year, but there are a couple of youngsters that probably wouldn't have featured in the first team this season for us. With the new arrivals to the squad, I think this is what our lineup will be moving forward into season 2. We're looking much more formidable, and I think we're ready for the Europa League. I have adjusted the position for Berenguer. Apparently, it was going to take him 118 weeks to convert him to a striker, so instead, I've just adjusted his position to make this right striker role a center forward. Here's a look at our Europa League group. We've got Braga, Victoria Pleasant, and Rapid Wien to match up against. I would assume that us and Braga are probably group favorites, but considering it's been a few seasons since we've last competed in Europe, I'm not putting my expectations too high. We're just going to take it one match at a time. The storylines for this career mode just keep on rolling in. We've got Dortmund in the Super Cup. It looks like they've made a few signings since the start of this challenge. Depay at the right striker position, Upamecano as their right center back, and Stones as their left center back. Not a bad squad at all. Let's get into this quick sim, see how we do. I think last time it ended as 4-1. This one was a bit closer, 3-2. Halfway through season 2, and you could say that things are not going exactly to plan for us in the league. Currently in 10th with 20 points from 17 matches played. But as we look towards the top of the table, some very interesting things going down. Hertha Berlin in 2nd, Hoffenheim in 3rd, and kind of as expected, Dortmund at the number 1 spot. But let's take a look at the relegation zone. And to be fair, there's really no team that's performing extremely poorly, but our Europa League campaign is going a bit better. 4 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss from our 6 group stage matches. And kind of a surprise there as Wien ended up advancing and not Braga. We've been drawn against Feyenoord for the round of 32 of the Europa League, and we did lose the away leg 2-0. Chances are not super high that we advance to the next stages, mostly because we suffered an injury to Martin. Now we have our backup right back. So maybe that's an area we need to improve for squad depth. But let's just get into a quick sim, see how we do, and if we can mount a comeback. Yeah, this one ends at 1-1, so unfortunately our Europa League journey has come to an end. We've reached the end of season 2, and it has been a step back for us in the league. We finished 10th, which is not exactly what I envisioned going into this season, but hopefully our young players continue to grow in their progress, and we can make improvements for season 3. But as far as the top of the Bundesliga is concerned, I believe we may see some interesting results. As Frankfurt finished in 2nd, that means Bayern came back from a 4th place position in January to now be Bundesliga champions by a fair margin. As for the relegation zone, we were well clear of that, but it was Dusseldorf and Hamburg who were relegated this season. Unfortunately, we had a relatively early exit in the Pokal. Maybe that had to do with our match fixtures. Leverkusen are a good opponent, and they beat us 2-0 in the quarterfinals. And it looks like Leverkusen actually went on to reach the final and win the entire competition. We'll quickly recap the Europa League. Feyenoord defeated us in the round of 32. They went on to lose in the round of 16 against Liverpool. And then Liverpool went on to win the entire competition. It's a season for us to forget. However, we will still look at the top statistics for the club. Uth once again was the top goal scorer for us. Bentaleb in 2nd with 10 goals. Rahman with 9 goals in 3rd. A very disappointing outing from Berenguer. 6 goals, 1 assist from 42 matches. I'm expecting something else next season. Maybe we need to play him in a different position, but we'll take a look at the assists as well. And it was Masaral who was the top assist maker with 7 assists, Uth in 2nd with 6, and Bentaleb and Draxler in 3rd with 5. This is what the squad looks like at the end of season 2. Definitely not as much improvement as we had in season 1, but still a couple of players progressing. If we don't get sacked by the board, we'll continue for a 3rd season. I'm a little bit undecided if you want to count our progress in season 2 as completing the objective. If we're being technical, our main objective for season 2 was to reach Europe, which we did this season. However, the thing that we were going after was to qualify for Champions League, which we did not achieve via our league finish or Europa League performance. Our objective for season 3 is to establish Schalke as a top 4 team in Germany and qualify for Champions League. Given last season's performance in the Bundesliga, that will prove to be a difficult task, but all we can do is start by addressing some key positions. As far as overall ratings go, our goalkeeper definitely needs some work. Fährmann has been a bit of a club legend for Schalke, but I think his time is over as the starting keeper at the club. On the other hand, we do have Schubert available, and while he is a younger option and does have a decent amount of potential, I'm not sure he's going to be the player that I want moving forward. Along with that, I would like to bring in another striker to the team. Uth has been contributing a lot of goals, but he is 77 rated at 30 years old, so he's going to start declining here pretty quickly. And we do have Rahman available as well on the bench, so maybe we sign someone as a squad rotational striker. We'll sort of see what options are available in the transfer market. As far as our budget is concerned, we have a good amount to work with, roughly 30 million. Another key objective for me is to somehow get our manager rating up. If we take a look at the board expectations and what objectives we do have, I think we can easily meet these youth development objectives. We basically just need to set up a network in a country, maybe looking for a goalkeeper, sign a couple of them up, and we can easily hit that. For brand exposure, we can probably sign a crucial first team player in this transfer window, and then it's a matter of whether we'll be able to have some good simulation performances and maintain that streak of 10 games. Financially, we need to reserve a bit of funds. That's not too difficult. And then domestically, that kind of lines up with our Career Mode Challenge objective of trying to finish top 4. We might just have our striker situation sorted. Kelechi Iheanacho is available as a free agent, and while he doesn't have quite as much potential these days, he's still going to be a solid striker option. And on a free transfer, we might as well make this deal happen. Here is the official confirmation that Iheanacho has joined Schalke. He signed as a crucial first team player so we can meet that board objective to a 3-year deal worth 30 grand a week. I expressed interest in wanting to improve at the goalkeeper position, and Dominik Livakovic is going to be exactly that player. We signed him for 27 million, which is actually under his market value. So this is a good bit of business, and I still think he has some room for growth. Already at an 82 overall rating. I could see him getting to the mid 80s. We did have a total of 3 players leaving the club in the summer, the main one being Sebastian Rudy to Aston Villa for 4.4 million, but we also had 2 of our younger players leaving the club. With the Bundesliga season about to kick off, this is the starting 11 I plan on using moving forward. As you can see, we brought in Livakovic at the goalkeeper position. I think this squad has a lot of potential and promise. Really only one player needs replacing within the next season, and that's Sane, purely because he is already 31 years old. So we eventually need to sign a higher overall center back or bring in Van Drongelen. Iheanacho will start off on the bench for us, but if we can see an increase to his rating, then I might bring him in over Rahman. We'll check in at the halfway point of season 3, and it looks like we finally made some progress as far as the simulations go. The improvements to our starting 11 and the increases in the overall seem to be making the difference. As things currently stand, we are 6 points out of a Champions League spot, as Bayern, Leipzig, Leverkusen, and Frankfurt are all within the top 4. We're making some moves in the January transfer window. Sevilla submitted an offer for our backup center back, Van Drongelen, who I believe we brought in during season 1. However, 26.7 million was too much for me to pass up off of. His market value was under 20 million, so I had to make this deal go through. As one defender leaves, another defensive-minded player comes in. Koopmeiners signs for 31.4 million from AZ, and while he's listed as a center defensive mid, he can play center back, and we're going to use development plans to make that his primary position. Our Bundesliga campaign is quickly coming to an end, just 5 matches left to play, and we've somehow turned things around, currently sitting 3rd with 56 points, but Wolfsburg are closing in on us. I think a win here would more or less secure us Champions League football, so let's go and do an interactive match sim. Hopefully pick up all 3 points. Wolfsburg have made some interesting transfers over the course of this career mode. Apparently they brought in Luis Suarez. I'm not sure what his rating would be at this point in season 3, but still a quality striker regardless. This could be a chance here if the ball will fall to us once again, and it's Berenguer, who has had a remarkable 3rd season. Honestly, it might just be players catching form at the right time, because Berenguer hardly scored a goal in season 2, but this year he's definitely in form, and I think dynamic potential is easily paying off. This could be an attacking chance for us as Rahman down the left wing has the cross. Options not to take it. Instead, we're going to go with some intricate passing. And maybe we can get a second goal. No, it's closed down well by Wolfsburg, to be fair. You can look at the stamina bars and tell that Wolfsburg are getting tired, whereas our players, the majority of them, are still in the green as we have a chance here to make it 2. Good save from Lopez. Keep the match at 1-0. Can we do something off of the corner kick? Another save from the Wolfsburg goalkeeper. And third time's the charm, not in this case. Oh my goodness, what a goal that is from Gerard Deulofeu. I think the ball just was gifted to him there, and somehow we need to either hang on to this result, play conservatively, or we can push on and secure all 3 points. I don't think it's the worst thing if we just get a draw, because we can either finish 3rd or 4th. It doesn't really matter to me. Both qualify for Champions League football. But if we can somehow get back possession and go on a break, then we might be able to get the go-ahead goal. Here's our number 7. This is Uth. He's got fresh legs. Maybe he can send it across here. Dribbling inside the area. Still needs to find the pass. Defended well by Wolfsburg. This match will end at 1-1. Will that be enough to secure Champions League football? Whatever we did this season seemed to work, because we finished 3rd in the Bundesliga, and I'm so happy to be competing in Champions League football next year, especially after a down 2nd season. It will be interesting to compete against some of the best clubs in the world. I know Bayern and Dortmund are a good example of the kind of team we should expect to play, but combine that with league matches and fixture congestion, it's going to be rough. Looking at the rest of the table and the relegation zone, it's Augsburg and Union Berlin who will be sent down. As for our form in the League Cup, we made it all the way to the semis, eventually losing to Dortmund on penalties. Dortmund did go on to win the competition. And if we take a look at the club statistics and some of our top scorers, I think you can tell the difference that having a good season will have on a player's statistics and their overall rating growth. Berenguer has gone up +4 this year. I don't believe he saw an increase in his rating in season 2. But anyways, Rahman had the 2nd most goals, Serdar the 3rd most. As for the assist category, Serdar was definitely going to be top, but Draxler and Berenguer right behind him. As we take a look at our final squad ratings for season 3, we need to start identifying areas we want to improve, especially as we push on to European football. We saw from our Europa League campaign how important squad depth is, and I don't know if our bench is going to cut it. While our main objective for season 4 will be to win Schalke's first league title, I still want to compete in the Champions League, and I'll probably continue this career mode challenge until we reach the Champions League final and showcase that match for y'all. If all goes well, we'll win the Bundesliga title and make it to the Champions League final this year, but in order to do so, we may need to make some improvements to the squad. Sané is starting to decrease in his overall rating. He is 32 after all, and I'm still not certain that we want to use Koopmeiners as a center back. It turns out his development plan is taking longer than expected, so he might just end up being a center defensive mid for us, because Mascarell is also getting older at 30. So maybe the plan of action will be to sign a proper center back into the team that is highly rated and add a little bit more squad depth. And considering that we've seen an increase in our transfer budget, about 55 million now to work with, we should be able to make some improvements. The price of these transfers just keep on going up. We've signed Elvedi for 45 million. That does seem like a big price tag for an 83 rated center back, but he's still relatively young, 26 years old, so we should be able to get that rating up to an 84, 85, and it will be even higher in game and for the simulations if we keep his morale happy and his sharpness up. As far as squad depth is concerned, I think this signing will complete everything that we have to do. We brought in Kakare for 25.2 million on a release clause. His market value is actually at 42 million. And the reason I decided to go after a center midfielder is because we are using the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, which means we need to have a lot of these options available, either in the starting 11 or in the substitutes. Luckily, Kakare can play both center mid and center defensive mid. Our Champions League group will consist of Barcelona, Lyon, and CSKA Moscow. It's very interesting that Lyon are included in our group, considering we just signed one of their players. As we reach the halfway point of season 4, this may be the final countdown for Schalke. We're within 1 point of being top of the Bundesliga. We'll see how the second half of the season goes as we look at the rest of the table. Essentially, it's between us and Leipzig. As far as the Champions League is concerned, we safely advanced out of our group, finishing second as expected. Barcelona were ahead of us. However, we did manage to draw against them, which leaves me with a lot of optimism as we start thinking about the round of 16. Speaking of which, our first opponent in the Champions League will be Sevilla. With the January transfer window coming to a close, we just had a single deal happen. Mercan is off to La Spezia for 2.85 million. As we think about the immediate future of this Schalke squad, I do not plan on making any changes. to our starting 11. This is really going to be a make or break year for us, as we have a couple of older players in the squad that are going to start declining in their overall. So we really need to perform well in the Bundesliga and the Champions League. All right, we have the first leg of our round of 16 fixture in the Champions League coming up. This is our crucial home leg, and I'm hoping, because the players are in form, we can net ourselves a few goals and hopefully the win here. As we do a quick sim, we only get a draw 1-1. With the match being 1-1 on aggregate, we're now going to travel to Spain, and this is really the first opportunity I have to take a closer look at Sevilla's starting 11. I completely forgot that Van Drongelen is one of their players, and he's actually going to captain them today. First chance of the match might go to Sevilla. We need to defend this well. The shot going wide, a chance for them. Good defensive stop, and maybe we can get on the break. We had a player through, optioning not to play the pass, but now we clearly need to work the ball out wide, back in the middle. And maybe that's going to be the goal scoring chance, as Serdar, one of our highest rated players, gets us that crucial away goal. And maybe, just maybe, we can continue this journey in the Champions League. At this point, our best tactic may be just to push forward and try to get a second away goal. Effectively, if we do that, Sevilla would need to score 3 to knock us out, and we nearly get a second there. And that's got to be it. It's Rahman scoring our second goal just before the halftime break. I almost feel like we can just jump to result here, but we'll play out the rest of the match. There is the full-time whistle, 4-1. We will be advancing 5-2 on aggregate. 2 more matches, or 2 more legs that we need to win in order to reach the Champions League final. We've been drawn against Juventus for the quarterfinals, and to make matters more dramatic, we also have a rematch against one of our former players, Weston McKennie. Although, if I'm being honest, I think we could have had more difficult opponents for this fixture. Juventus has some high potential players, but you have to consider some of the other teams still in this competition, like Barcelona, Manchester United. Anyways, let's get into the quick sim, see how we do here. I'm just hoping we get a decent result away from home, and it's 3-1. That will make matters very difficult for our home leg. Obviously, we have our work cut out for us. It's going to be difficult to score a few goals, but we did get that crucial away goal. And if we can hold on to a strong defensive performance, maybe we can achieve a 2-0 result and advance. And as I say that, we score a goal within 5 minutes. Berenguer just made this fixture very interesting. Good dispossess. And now we get on the counter. We've got options forward, trying to play this one out wide. Kakache back in the middle. Now to Martin. We just need to find the open player. And it's a... I thought that was a second goal. We're either called back for offside or it was a goal kick, but we're looking very good early on in this match. We've won back possession in a decent area. A lot of Juventus' defenders are forward. Maybe we can make them pay. As we get the ball to our attackers. Now to our number 9. Trying to get the shot off. Draxler linking up with a few players. And that could have been the second goal. Chesney closed down the space. And it looks like we'll go into the halftime break 1-0. We needed to get that cleared, and I thought we were about to concede a goal. If Juventus score one more, that's basically game over. But it's not done yet for us. As we play the ball in the center, again, we're just a few key passes away from getting the second goal and advancing in the Champions League. Can we get one more attacking opportunity? The minutes are trickling down. We're played through, and we get the goal! 2-0 in the 88th minute. It's Rahman, who might have just put us through to the semi-final of the Champions League. Switch to ultra defensive, guys. You don't need to play ultra attacking anymore. And ref, just call for full time. Just call for it. Why are you letting them play on? There we go. What a comeback this was at home. The odds were against us, but we've done it. For these 2 semi-final fixtures, there's no way I'm going to leave this completely up to chance. We're still going to simulate, but we're going to interactive match sim both legs. There are a few stamina issues for us, so we might have to make some tactical changes later in the match. Some pretty notable players left out of Barcelona's starting 11. I'm wondering why De Jong isn't starting. Maybe it's due to an injury. Maybe they feel confident enough that they can win this fixture without him, but hopefully we'll make him pay. Oh, this could be our goal scoring chance, and we get the first goal. It's Rahman again. He has become such a hero in this career mode challenge. Didn't start with the best overall potential, but courtesy of dynamic potential and match sharpness, he has become a complete striker. At least up 1 goal. We can't afford to concede, as this will be the last attack of the match. We just need to stop once more. Barcelona dispossessed, and that should be full time. Getting into the second leg of the Champions League, Barcelona have realized the implications of this match. They decided to bring out a full strength starting 11. De Jong is back. And this could be bad as Barcelona with a shot on target. Well saved by Livakovic. And maybe we can get on an attack here. As Rahman is played through out wide to our 17, cross sent in. Ter Stegen saves. Please don't concede here. Please don't concede a goal. Barcelona passing it backwards. And it's 1-1. We're level on aggregate. Both sides have scored an away goal. Can we make the difference and score at home? Ter Stegen, man, he makes so many saves. Can we please score from a corner kick? The thing that scares me now is that if Barcelona get one more goal, effectively we need to score 2 due to the way that away goals work. So we can't afford to have any defensive lapses. Go on. Play him through. Play him through. Score a goal. He's off. No, he's on. I thought that was a delay, but 2-1 now. I was looking at the 1-1 scoreline. I wasn't looking at the aggregate score, so I was a bit confused. But now we need to play smart defensively. A third goal should seal it. That's got to be full-time, ref. Please call for it. We want to get to a Champions League final, and there it is. It has been a wild ride with Schalke. I had some expectations for us in the Champions League, but we have performed so well to beat quality opposition. I don't think there's going to be much more difficult of an opponent than Barcelona. This season has been something else. We're on the second to last match day, and now we have Bayern, who is currently second in the league. That means because we have a 4-point advantage over them, if we can just get a draw or a win, then we will be crowned Bundesliga champions. I have to do an interactive match sim for this one. Again, I don't want to leave this entirely to fate. The last time we played Bayern, we actually lost 1-0. All I'm hoping is that our strikers can continue to find their good form and that our players stay healthy. We do not want to be suffering an injury going into the Champions League final, but good signs early on, as we already put Bayern under pressure. Go on, Rahman. That's got to be it. Unless Bayern can get 2 goals, we have effectively won the Bundesliga title. We just need to play strong defensively, which we've done all season. That's a goal back for Bayern. Richarlison in the 42nd minute equalizes just before the halftime break. I don't even want to imagine the scenes where Bayern win this match and we have to go to the final Bundesliga match day to secure the title and then play in the Champions League final. That would just be too much stress. Free kick here in the 57th minute. Can we make something happen? That's it. Berenguer with 30 minutes left to play. There's no way Bayern get 2 goals. This really has been a match of set pieces. Bayern get their goal just before the break off of a corner kick, and then we get our second off a free kick. And with the time ticking down, this will probably be the last attacking chance of the match before we're crowned Bundesliga champions. Full-time whistle. Schalke have won their first Bundesliga title. And what better way than for us to defeat Bayern Munich? Despite fielding a completely rotated side for our final match of the season, we still managed to secure a win, and we ended up winning the Bundesliga title by 7 points ahead of Bayern Munich. A really great campaign from the entire squad, and Leipzig kind of destructed in the second half of the season. They were top of the table at the halfway mark, but we were ultimately victorious. Let's take a look at the rest of the table, see who will be relegated this season. Mainz and Nuremberg. To be honest, I completely forgot about the Pokal, and we've managed to actually reach the final. That means the opportunity for us to win a treble is on. So I will field a full strength squad for this DFB Pokal final against Köln, and I'll show the interactive match sim. I've got a lot of respect for Köln, but given the opposition that we've been playing recently, I would say that this is an easier fixture than the last few we've played. Imagine if we can score from a free kick from this sort of range. Serdar finds the back of the net. He is too good, man. Oh, it's going to be a second goal. 16 minutes in. This squad is just too good at this point. It's like the squad is so hungry to win the treble this season. We've accomplished what we wanted in the Bundesliga. Clearly, we are on track to do so in the Pokal. Now we can almost turn our attention to the Champions League. With the clock counting down, Köln won't get too many more chances, and with that opportunity cleared, we'll get the ball forward, and essentially we can run things out. That will be another cup for us, the DFB Pokal, and another piece of silverware for us this season. With all competitions for us complete in Germany, we'll turn our attention to the Champions League final. Said fixture will be against Manchester City. There's nothing new there. I played against them so many times in FIFA 20 for these Champions League finals, and I feel like I can match up well against them, especially with this squad that we've managed to use. I thought we should showcase all the players that we have available so you can take a look at their stats and that sort of stuff. Kakache looks like an amazing fullback. This is my first time actually looking at his stats now that he is 86 rated. But yeah, I'm very confident with our squad. We have really grown as a Schalke team and as a unit together. And the fact that we can end this career mode with Julian Draxler as he just starts to decline in his ratings towards the end is just amazing. But I'm expecting our strikers, especially Rahman, to score a goal. This is how City will line up. They have a front three of Sterling, Jonathan David, very interesting transfer there, and Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Rodri, and Odegaard in the middle. Backline consisting of Angelino, Laporte, Varane, and Cancelo, with Ederson between the sticks. I don't know what else to say. It's been a long road to get here. Wish me luck, guys. And let's get into this Champions League final. We might have a chance here as we play the ball out wide. This is Kakache, our fullback, getting into an attacking position and inside the box. Just needs to cross it here. It will fall to one of our players. And it's none other than Julian Draxler trying to get the effort off, but defended well by City. De Bruyne, he might be a bit older in this save, but he is still an incredible player. But we have managed to dispossess him here. We might be able to get an attacking chance as we are using this 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, proving to be very effective on the attack. Maybe we can go across goal here. Effort on target, but Ederson with the good save. Good header there. Right to one of our players. Kakare. Didn't plan on him being in this match, but because of the Bentaleb injury, he's proving to be a very useful player for us. Someone that can play a variety of positions. And hopefully he makes an impact on this match as Draxler plays through. Rahman getting the effort off, but unfortunately out for a goal kick. Draxler into the box. Can he somehow finish this? Needs to flick this over the defender or over the goalkeeper. That is the strangest goal I have seen so far in FIFA 21. But Julian Draxler somehow finds a way to get us our opening goal of the match. Actually, I thought that was Draxler, but I believe that was Rahman who did some incredible play. Ederson completely whiffed and we'll get the goal. So we don't repeat that mistake again. I'll make it so player names up here above the player. Just trying to defend with everything we can. Kakache is doing oh so well to contain these Manchester City attackers. And our midfield helping out with defensive duties. Now Rodri. If we can dispossess them here, we should be able to get on a counter-attack. De Bruyne. Back to Rodri. Over to Jonathan David. Has the 5-star weak foot, so we need to watch out for that. And we do intercept. Now we just need to get this cleared. Playing well out of the back and get on a counter-attacking chance. This could be it right here. As Serdar will push the ball forward. A lot of space in front of him. Now he needs to look for options in the middle. A back heel. This is a chance for Kakare to get a goal. And Ederson will hit that one out of play. A corner kick and maybe a chance for us to make some tactical subs. Draxler has been one of my favorite signings in this career mode. However, his stamina is starting to go lower. And I think what better way to round out this career mode is then to bring on one of our homegrown talents, Schumacher. 5-star skill moves, 4-star weak foot, can play that center attack in mid position. And while his rating's a bit lower, I have confidence he can help us get a victory. We're also going to bring Koopmeiners in at the left center mid position. I know he's going to have a slightly lower rating, but in terms of how he plays in game, he's a better defender than Kakare. It's a good ball played through. Can City equalize? We've got a few defenders back. And we put in a good tackle. Koopmeiners with the clearance. We can just hang on now. Or maybe get on a counterattack as Schumacher's has enough pace. And now he just needs to find the pass. Has the square cross. We'll play it. And that's going to be a second goal. Berenguer netting a second goal for Schalke. 15 minutes left to play. And I think we might have just done enough. I told you that our homegrown talent would make an impact on this match. Perfect pass played to Berenguer and a great finish. Could we get a third? We play this correctly. And once more, if he's onside, that's going to be a third goal. Rahman, not sure if it's going to be a goal or not. It is. That's a brace for him. Look at Kakache go. Just quicker than all of the City defenders. One more heavy touch, and now he's going to go far post. What a finish to get our 4th goal from the fullback out of New Zealand. What a signing he has been as well. Not getting that ball too far off of the ground, but it had so much power that Ederson, there's no way you can stop it. That is going to be full-time 4-0 in the Champions League final, and it is so good to celebrate this victory with the rest of the Schalke fans. And I think my favorite aspect of this career mode challenge is the players that we have built our squad around. We didn't sign a lot of high potential youngsters. Rather, we just let dynamic potential do its thing. We brought in some former Schalke players like Julian Draxler, and I couldn't be happier with how this video went. If you enjoyed this concept, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. But until next time, this has been Flick. I'll be talking to y'all again soon.